Okay, I could stop this, but I'm about to introduce you. Um, okay, let me introduce you. Hi, everyone. I'm here with Devin Bridgers. Let me just pull up Devin's bio right quick, and then I'll get into the story of why I'm laughing. Devin Bridgers is the writer, director, and creator of the film Fraternizing. The Virginia native is again residing on Southern soils while working remotely between there and the DMV. She loves the idea of spreading a bit of Southern comfort wherever she steps foot. By day, she works in the nonprofit world, aspiring to help international women victims of war reestablish their lives and create sustainable income. In the evening, you can find Devin singing or scripting colorful imagery that induces laughter that, once fizzled out, leaves contemplation. Her goal is to create works that inspire and expand the emotional mind of her viewers, or simply to bring healing found in laughter. In the future, Devin will write and produce for film, the internet, and television. Amen. And I'll drop the contact at the end as well, but I'll add it here. If you want to look her up right now as we speak, you can contact Devin by email at devintherewriter@gmail.com or on YouTube via her newest endeavor, Hey Melanin. So be sure to like or subscribe while you're there. And again, I'll put that info at the end. So I'm laughing because I watched, was it one of the Hey Melanin videos, and you gave several takes on your intro. You're like, I've always wanted to start a YouTube. You're like, Hey Melanin. So I saw myself doing that. I'm like, okay, how am I gonna? So
that is my mind in a nutshell. Like 50 different ways. We could do it this way. How about that? No, let's scratch that. Let's do it like this. Yeah, it's a lot going on up there. So.
But I like that you share with the audience those takes, because I don't know, it's automatically inviting and amusing at the same time.
Thank you. I'm glad. Like one of my biggest goals with YouTube is to come across as me, because I think a lot of people, when they're online, they're like one person, and then when they go back into their life, they're a separate person. I want to truly be myself through the whole time. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I really respect that, and I feel like it kind of is something that I'm gonna internalize myself, because I do feel like I've watched back at some of my videos. I'm like, okay, these are the rules, like just formal, and then I'm like, why do you don't have to do that? But it's all about, getting comfortable, I suppose.
Yeah.
The camera. So you are a writer, director, producer, and vocalist, and possibly many other things. So I want to kind of talk today about that whole creative realm that you live in.
Okay.
And we're going to start with a simple intro question. I'm wondering, is there a song or poem that you know all the words to?
Oh, I feel like absolutely. There's so many. There's so many. When I think about a poem, the first one that comes to mind is Paul Laurence Dunbar's We Wear the Mask. But I feel like even if I'm saying that, I'll probably like skip I'll probably skip a stanza or so, but that one comes to mind because we had to learn it in college, and it's just always stuck in about Black people having to put on a persona basically to go into the world. And it's covering so much of who we are, but it's for survival, and it's just to maintain a sense of self to some capacity, but having to code switch. Song, Happy Birthday. I'm sure I know all those words. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, got it. Same thing, the same melody. I like Encourage Yourself in the Lord. Oh, Raheem, let me shout out Raheem. I know all his music, okay? So anything by Raheem, I know. So yeah, a whole lot of things.
And for those who watched the Raheem interview, Devin and Raheem sang together too at one point. So I think I have your CD.
So what was it? Solstice 7th. Yes.
Yeah, I have that. It's gorgeous. Okay, lovely. Let's talk about the poem for a sec. Have you felt, because I want to juxtapose it with what you said about being yourself on YouTube. So have you felt that you at one point related to that personally, like had to wear a mask, and that's why you intentionally kind of are like, no, I'm going to be my full self here?
Yeah, I think always. I think that's just a part of Black identity for me. Now, if someone has not and they're Black and they just, especially, I'll say being Black in America, if someone is Black in America and they've never felt the need to put on like the guise of something else even in a slight way, bless them. But for me, I grew up going to white schools predominantly, and basically on Sundays and at home, I had Blackness, like the full safety of Blackness. And then when I went to school, it was kind of like, even though I was at home, my mom and grandmother very much taught me, be yourself, stand out, be loud, be the light. At school, it's kind of taught, be quiet, sit down, stay back, the opposite of those things. So I would say pretty much elementary through high school, a part of me had to be, or I felt a part of me had to be concealed. And I had to wear a mask. And that was why I very intentionally said, I'm going to a HBCU because I need to be around my people. I want to know what we're into. What are we doing? Also, brothers was looking handsome at A&T. And I didn't get that experience. Like, I didn't date in high school. First of all, because my family was not for that. They're like, you going to school to learn. There's no need to date. I'm like, okay. But yeah, I've definitely been in that position where I felt like I had to dim who I was in order to highlight who someone else is, or what their rules were, or what was considered beautiful or acceptable, all those things. But now I very gladly am stepping more and more into myself and the things that define me in this season, because that may change in the next. But it feels good. Like, I feel really full of, not like arrogant, but just full and like excited for where I am, and also where I feel that God is taking me.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear what that is. We'll circle back.
Okay.
Tell us about some of the projects that you have worked on that people can find right now. So they can find Fraternizing, the film, but it's in, is it 4 or 5 parts, right?
5 parts, yes. It's all on YouTube. It's under Fraternizing. So you can look it up 2 ways: Fraternizing the web series or Fraternizing the film.
Okay.
Also, if you just look up Fraternizing, you will see my face, but this was when I had long locks. So you'll see locks and a yellow shirt. But that's how you can look up Fraternizing. Prior to that, I did a very short film called Crumbling. It's also online. If you can find it, good luck. I don't know. Like,
I didn't find it.
I'll like type in Crumbling and I'm like, don't see it, but I know it's like under some tab on one of my YouTubes. And then my current things are Hey Melanin, projects all on YouTube. I did a small little series on love and Valentine's Day and Black History Month last year. And I have a lot of plans for that this year. And yeah, also some writings on Blavity. I think if you just search my name, Devin the Writer, or I can send you some links. But yeah, I have like a little stuff everywhere, I guess.
Okay, yes. So where are you when your ideas come to you?
Mostly asleep, honestly. I'll wake up or I'll be dreaming about things, especially music. Like if I dream of song lyrics, it's almost always that I wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning and I have these exact lyrics, the exact song has been given to me. It's almost like a download. And even if I don't get the full song, I'll get like a verse of the song. And if I don't write it down, it's gone. So I have to just get up, write it down, and finish it. Fraternizing was kind of just an exercise in, can I do this? Is this possible to me? Because I didn't think I could make a film. I just thought, oh, I'll write a script and maybe somebody will buy it. But Fraternizing was just an idea. I work in a nonprofit world. I got also inspired from The Office and Insecure. I wanted to kind of make that come together. So I think just one God, just literally downloading information and also just looking at people and what's around me. I'm so much of an observer and I like to see people's little things. Everybody has like something. And a lot of people hate that I can see it because I'll be like, that's all. But it's okay. We all have our quirks. So
Yeah.
I might turn that quirk into a character.
Right. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so downloads at night, and then do you write your ideas on paper or do you type them out?
I put them in my phone at night,
Okay.
or I write it on a journal if I can just like really get up to write everything down. And then if I have a dream about it too, I'll just quickly try to write everything from the dream down.
Ooh. Oh. Um, do you now that you've created this content so far, like how do you feel about it on this side of it? Because you wanted to see if you could do it. How do you feel now looking back at what you created?
Now I feel like, wow, that was a lot. Like that was a lot to accomplish in such a small amount of time. Because I wrote the script on January 27th of 2019. Or 2019, yes, 2019. I started writing the script. I finished writing probably on February 3rd. And then at that point, I was like, okay, now I need to find some people to help me and put it all together. By May, everything was edited and complete. And then in July, we presented it at the film festival. And honestly, at the end of that season, I felt almost nothing. It felt weird to me. Like it was like yay, I did this thing, and we all had the film premiere and everyone was excited. Everybody came out. I felt so supported and so loved. And then the very next day, it's like, wow, that's over. So for me, the journey of it was so satisfying and exciting and like a rush and thrilling. But then when it was over, I was almost like pushed into it, like, okay, what am I gonna do next? And as we all know, the pandemic kind of happened. So that made me stop. And I was like, no, I had so much momentum built up. Like I wanted to keep going. But now on the other side of everything, I've taken time to just give myself grace and look back at really what was accomplished on my own part and all the people that came together to help me. And now I'm kind of in a place like where I took time to break down the lessons of each moment and each season of creating it, or each month, I should say, of creating the film. And I just feel like, okay, what parts did I enjoy? What parts didn't I enjoy? How am I going to change so that the next time I do this, I don't feel like almost a sense of lacking or just emptiness after it's complete. So, yeah.
Wow. That's crazy to me how it sounds like it just suddenly, like it didn't even ride a few months, like it just stopped. Like
yeah, it just stopped. It just stopped instantly. And even that, I was like, well, what was I pulling joy from in the project? I really had to think about all these things. And for me, part of it really was being around people. Like we had built a whole little fraternizing community because there were 13 people in the cast. We had 3 to like 6 different camera people.
wow.
It was just a bunch of us all coming together all the time. And then after it was like, okay, now everybody just goes back to their
Go home now.
yeah. Yeah. All right, guys, thanks. Bye.
So how did you find all these people? And what was it like shifting, or maybe it wasn't too much of a shift, but from being the writer and having like the creative idea to now having to work with technical, the technicalities of putting it together, like a videographer and maybe costume, like all the other things outside of the writing. How was that?
It was a lot. So in terms of finding people, everybody was like a friend or a friend of a friend.
Okay.
So I had like the base cast, and then they went beyond and found like friends that might be interested. And then I also did like a casting read through for one of the main leads. And these were friends from all throughout my DC life, like people I worked with in the past, or people I went to church with, or people I was just randomly friends with. So I pulled together all of my resources because in that season, which is similar to now, God was like, use all you have and I will give you increase. And I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna put everything I got into this. And if this is really what I'm supposed to do, I need you to like show up. truly show up. And he did, like, all throughout the process. So all friends and people I met along the way. And then from writing is something I would do forever and something I will do forever just because I love it. It like fuels me, it makes me feel good. Um, so going from that to a space that I really had never touched was like God promising rain, and I had never seen it before. I was like, well, we're gonna see what happens. Let's just step out here on faith and do it. So I literally just called my friends, and I really think I really know that it was because of the people around me that were like, yo, you're doing this. It's not like you can do this, but you're actually in the process of doing it. It just was like fuel to keep going. If something came up, my laptop broke down. The entire screenplay got erased at one point. Like the all the edits just erased off my hard drive. My car broke down.
Wait,
like
how
so
did
many,
you recover from the whole thing being erased? I'm confused. Like, how did you get it back?
so I saved everything, like insanely, saying everything. So I didn't have a backup hard drive at the time. And the IT person at my job was like, I'm gonna take this apart. And he found it somewhere inside the hard drive. He like took it apart, hooked it up to his computer, found it, saved it, put it back together. I was like, shouts out to Mark. If you ever see this, Mark, thank you.
Mark?
Mark is amazing. Because I cried, because it was like I had been editing for months, and that too, I never really edited on such a large scale, so I had to teach myself how to do that better. Somebody at my job knew how to edit, so she took the time to go through the process with me of how to edit. And every obstacle along the way, like God truly put someone in my path that could help me. The week before we were supposed to shoot, all the camera people quit. I had 2 at that point. God gave me 7 new people that came in and filmed in the very next week. So each step was like just stepping out and like, we just gonna see where we're gonna land. I'm gonna step out with everything I got and see where we land. But everything was new. So I had never really directed before. Editing on my own was new. Casting, never done it before. So it was really like painting the picture as I was going along, but it all came together.
It did.
And maybe that's why it was weird, because it's like at the end I have this painting. It's like, okay, well, let me just hang it on the wall and time to go to the next painting. So
man, I'm glad that you shared all those pieces, because that does need to be recorded, behind the painting. It does need to be.
Yeah.
So let's shift to your writing in terms of your articles and also singing your songs. How do you? I love Devin's writing. I remember you had a blog, and this probably wasn't even your first thing, because you constantly like bless the people with you. Like you'll just be like, listen, I have something for you, good people. And I loved your blog, laughable, relatable, and debatable.
Yes. What?
Listen, Devin, you don't even know. Like I'm a fan. I am a fan. Like I just watch it. I just gratefully receive what you put out. I laugh to myself and with myself. You have a skill, and I love your work.
Thank you. I could cry.
I really do. Yeah, I guess I don't say it enough, but like, I guess people think a lot of stuff in their heads. And share it rarely, but yeah, I remember all the way back to that, and I'm like,
wow, thank you.
She's good. But yet, what are you writing about now? You said you have some articles for Blavity, and then your songs. Like, what are you writing about?
Well, with Blavity, those were all like just freelance. Like I would write an article and submit it. I would love to work for Blavity full time, somewhat, but they never have like the position that's exactly like tuned to the type of writing I do, because they do a lot of news writing. But I just need to see something that piques my curiosity or interests me. And more than likely, like, I just need to write about it. Like, I got to get it out, an expression of how I feel about it, because I found that if I'm feeling it, somebody else is feeling it just as strongly as I am. And they're like, girl, yes, like that's exactly what I was thinking. Or when I wrote about Black Panther, and I was so excited about Black Panther coming to the cinema and getting dressed up. And like, I know this is fictional, but this is the closest we got right now.
That was a
It was just like a movement, and I was so for it. But yeah, right now my writing is probably, oh, actually I am writing. I really would like to put out a novel. That's like a goal of mine. But sometimes I feel like this is just going to be a part of life where I have those mental hangups like, can I write a novel? Because I write satirically or comically. And how does that translate to writing for like a full book? But I'm like, maybe it doesn't need to be, I don't know, girl. Go ahead, please.
Just write something long. Like, I feel like maybe it'll be a novel, maybe it'll be called something else, but just keep like, just write several pages for us, please. Like,
okay. Look, yeah. That I can do. But yeah, that's that. And then for music, I'm really, I feel similar to kind of what we were talking about earlier. I feel like the last 3 years were kind of snatched away in a sense, or almost just like dust, like they just vaporized and became dust. So this year I'm just very, even now on this early top of January, I'm very like, I'm gonna get this done this year. The things I'm setting out for. So my goal later on this year is to release music in some way. So I have 6 songs. I have a small amount of songs, but even that, I've been praying about it and God has been giving me more lyrics. So I'm just trying to write it all down. But 2 songs are really, 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 really 2 that I'd like to release this year. And the first one is just talking about kind of like a self-love song, self-encouragement. But one of the lines is, in your reflection, you are a work of art. And I just want to keep it going. So yeah, I'm excited. I get cautious about talking about projects because I'm like, now I've committed. Now I really gotta show up.
We're gonna check back and
yeah. But yeah, please do like hold me accountable. So yeah.
I like hearing about your faith too, and how that's a relationship, like God dropping, time to do this, and to help you out here.
I don't know how people do it without him, because I'll just be like, Lord, what is going on? Because this is wild out here.
It's wild.
It is. What is happening?
Yeah. What is happening? On that note, what is something in the world that has your attention right
now? This is so minor. Trevor Noah retiring. I was very excited for him.
You were excited?
I was excited for him because his reasons for retiring were so spot on to me. He's had a career for 7 years. I feel like, that's completion. And also he was aware that his time was being consumed. The one thing that he can never get back was being consumed, and he wasn't able to spend enough time with his family. He wasn't able to spend time doing the things he really loved, like stand up or being on the road and meeting new people and learning new languages. So instead of staying in something just because it was a guaranteed paycheck and a guaranteed audience and more fame and all those things, he chose to step away for something that was more important to him. Wow. And that included spending more time with his family and spending more time in South Africa and being with friends. And those were the things, I think, after that 3 years of just who knows what, it's like, that's where he landed. Like, that's what means the most to me. That's what's important. So that's what I'm going to pursue. And I was like, how honorable, sir. Like, that is dope. That is really dope, because a lot of people wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I hadn't listened to it. So you're informing me, but I was like, it's too soon. But 7 is that number of completion. And I do respect that. Now I'll look into it a bit more, but just knowing when it's your time.
Yes. That's good.
Yeah.
Knowing when it's your time.
Yeah. Because you're right. I mean, how many of us at many points in life have had that nudge, I guess, like it's your time, like either to start something or not, but we just ignore it.
to start something, or when it's time to step away
Right. Or when
from something, because I know for me, in so many things, I just stay too long, hoping that it'll
Woo!
change, or maybe I can change it, or, you know, something will shift and turn around. It's like, no, it's not going to change. You have changed. And that's a good thing, because we're supposed to. So continue to move forward in that. But I know for me, it's not the new thing. I'll be ready to jump on the new thing, but it's just the staying too long in hopes for something to shift when I should have walked away. So
Please write a song about that.
okay, let me write it. Let me make a note.
Yeah, please do. Take a minute. Or
Yes,
put
I
it in the
will.
novel.
I will. Let me put it in my notes. I have so many notes in this phone. I need to like print them out on paper. I need paper things.
I would love to just give you a sec.
Okay, thank you.
I would love to read people's notes sometimes in their phone.
Girl, it's so much in there.
Okay, so that was something you're curious about, or happening in the world that has your attention. What is something that you're curious about right now? Like either about yourself, or to try, or
Curious about. Ooh, so many things. I like that question. That's a great question. I am curious, not in a way of wanting to rush it, but I'm curious to see what my life will look like at the end of this year, because I know like this year, similar to 2019, is one of those years where I am very ready to go all in. And I remember just how I felt all throughout 2019. And this time I have the lessons of 2019 with me. So I feel like I have an advantage. So I'm curious to see, one, now that I'm learning not to stay so long and to release things and surrender them, I'm interested to see like what my relationships will look like at the end of this year, what my connections will be, what I will have been able to achieve and like create and put together and see through to finish. And I'm also just curious to know like who I will be at the end of the year, because I know who I am now, but I'm like, man, what's she gonna be like? Because right now we on fire, girl. What you going in December, girl? So yeah, I'm curious about that.
I like that. I mean, it's not necessarily new because everyone has New Year resolution, but I just like posing it in that way, how you frame it, like who's she gonna be at the end? You know, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And I saw your video of all the lessons you learned in 2022 as well, which
Yes.
is a nice thing to do. I like that whole, like, just sit down and reflect on every, like, you know, count it. The blessings, the lessons, like really just count it again, recorded. I think that's so important. So I'm excited to see who she gonna be too.
Thank you.
This brings us to the end. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Anything else on your mind?
I think right now, if for anyone watching this, I would just say be encouraged with who you are and what is inside of you. I know a lot of times we think about like, what can we do? What can we do? What is possible within us? And the truth is, everything that is within us is possible. We just have to like really use what we have, because I never, again, with fraternizing, I didn't think I could do it because I had never done it before. But then I did it, and it's like, now I know it's possible to me. And it opened up, it like planted a seed and put in me like, what else is possible? Like, what else can I do? So I think that the encouragement that I would like to give is like, truly, if you have a dream about something and it's a nagging dream, pursue that thing and it will come to you. And follow me on Hey Melanin. And I hope that it can provide something of inspiration or a laugh. And yeah, that's it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Devin. It's
No
been a
problem.
pleasure.
Same here. Thank you.